Hello and welcome to the Jam Spot podcast. I'm Henry.
And I'm Phil.
And this week we're basically going over some stories from viewers and from us, from BJs to
DJs.
DJs. That's brilliant. As always, if you'd like to hear more from us, you can click like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. You can catch us on socials at the Jam Spot Pod. That's on Instagram, TikTok. Are we on Twitter? X?
I don't think we're on there yet. We haven't got enough to say.
We will. Yeah, fuck it. Might be here soon. Basically you can catch us there, and we hope you enjoy.
Basically, we couldn't afford anyone to come on the podcast, so we've had to create one ourselves.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about being blown off at gigs, which ironically one of my students messaged in about. Okay. I'm not going to out who it is exactly, but that is shocking.
Let's jump into.
Can I just say a mature student? No.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Can you imagine? Hello,
little Timmy coming up with them kind of stories.
Timmy. Yeah. So, all right. So, in this first vein, if you like, I want a better word than that. So apparently the first story, this is the very first story I received after putting this online. So basically, me and Phil put stuff online, as some of you might know, and that's beautiful, isn't it? To give you some background, first of all, this is a fucking mess. But to give you a bit of background, me and Phil have both been really ill before this, so you're going to hear a couple of like little snuffly things going on. My voice is going to sound different.
Yeah, my cough every now and again.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah, a bit of a cough. I sound like a grandpa. Anyway, there we go. So, blowjobs.
Let's talk about blowjobs. Let's talk about sex, baby.
The first story that comes into me is from a student of mine, a mature student of mine, who says he was doing a gig once and this lady just comes up to the band before and says, I'm going to give you all blowjobs. And he was apparently the only one who followed up afterwards and said, by the way, where is it? You owe me. And she obliged in public.
When I was younger, I used to get a lot more attention because I'm old and bald now.
Oh, mate. I know a number of ladies who like the bald approach.
Bald approach.
It's that Jason Statham sort of. I don't know why I said that twice, but yeah. It's that kind of.
But yeah, I mean, I used to get like the older woman come up to me quite a lot.
Oh, you were one of those.
Yeah, I remember this woman. She came up. I mean, I haven't mentioned this before, but I used to do a lot of gigs with my parents. Yeah, because my dad played guitar, my mum sung.
It's just how you segued into that.
Oh, right, sorry.
Where's this going?
So I used to do a lot of gigs with them. And obviously they a lot of people didn't really know what the relationship was. They didn't necessarily know they were my parents straight off. But yeah, I used to get sort of a few older women come up to me, sort of chasing me down and asking my mum things like, where's Cheeky? Where's Cheeky?
Where's Cheeky?
And that would be me, and I'll just be hiding in the corner somewhere from an elderly woman.
Cheeky.
Where's Cheeky? Yeah. I don't know what gave him that impression to me.
Do you know what you say about the older ladies? I'm going to completely out him here, but the owner of this establishment, we're at the Ginistry again, by the way. We got ourselves a beer today. I think because we're feeling a bit more rough, we were like, you know what? Let's just have a beer. It's the first one of the new year.
Yeah.
Happy New Beer, as you put it earlier.
Happy New Beer, yeah.
Andrew is an older lady magnet.
Is he
the
really?
Owner of this establishment, yeah. He'll never admit it himself, but sorry, Andrew, by the way. He'll hear this at some point and want to kill me. But honestly, if you come into this bar on a Saturday or something, it's literally, you'll have like the normal side of the room where everyone gathers, and then you'll just have a female side of the room where he is at the bar. It's hilarious.
Like an old school disco where
all
the men at
they're
one
all just
side,
like,
girls
oh, Andrew, how you doing? Like, it's quite funny. But
yeah, I don't think I've ever had anything that bad.
I can't remember if I have.
The only time I can think of is not me personally, but we were playing and our drummer, he was quite into bodybuilding at the time.
Yeah.
So he was pretty well built. It's about 6'2". So you look the part. He later went into stripping, but that's another story. But he looked the part, and he managed to cop off with one of the bridesmaids, and I was quite annoyed. In fact, we was all quite annoyed because it comes to the end of the gig, You know, when you're like eager to pack down. It was quite far away. It was like Nottingham or something, and it was like quite keen to get away, and he just disappeared. Disappeared with his bridesmaid in one of the suites,
and he was packing something else
to pack down. Yeah, he was packing something else in. So yeah, we had to pack down all the kit and everything, and then he just turned up right to death. Oh, you're up, boys. You know, you're ready to.
How long was the pack down?
Oh, 3 minutes.
Fastest drummer in town.
Yeah, but yeah, just well. I was like, mate, come on, you can't just leave us to pack down. Sorry,
yeah, I mean, you know, at the very least. I mean, that hasn't happened to me. I mean, not in a function gig anyway. I think most of the time I've depped, so I think I'd feel a certain amount of I can't take the piss. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah. Different. I guess it's different if it's your own wedding band.
Yeah, I suppose so. Talking of deps, like, have you ever had any like really terrible deps on a gig?
I've been the really terrible deps. So my first ever dep gig was, I remember, I think it was on the Isle of Wight or something, and I didn't tell them that it was my first ever dep gig, and it was for, do you remember that really shit brand called Ear Candy?
Yes.
I can say that because everyone knows their shit.
I think they've gone bust,
like,
haven't they?
Yeah, they've gone bust. They're fucking terrible. They paid shit money, but I was like, all right, this is my first gig, and I'm going in. So, and it gets to I was a bit nervous because obviously you got the first dance to think about, all this kind of stuff, and I've done the gig and I actually played all right. I was like, oh, this is good. Got to the end of it, done everything right, turned my amp off, didn't realise it was the PA. DJ's gone. It literally went like that, and then whoop, as it come back on, as I panicked and turned it back on, and the guy looked at me who was running the gig and went, "Never again."
Oh dear.
I had to drive home with him that night.
Oh.
Like he drove me home after saying that to me. I don't know if he was being sarcastic to this day.
Oh mate.
But like it was mortifying. I was.
Really?
Yeah, because like the bride, I remember the bride looking at me going, "No!"
Oh mate, yeah,
like,
that's not good, is it?
I was like, I didn't mean it. I really didn't mean it.
No, we had I'm not going to name names, but
not like I did.
Yeah, we had a gig once. It was I think it was in Twickenham, and it was I can't remember. It was a social club or a rugby club. Rugby club will make sense.
Yeah.
And it was a 60th birthday party, and we had this dep keys player come in, and it was a female keys player, which I'd never had before. I was like, oh, this is, you know.
I'm not laughing because it's female, by the way. It's because I know what the story is.
Oh, okay.
Katie's told me this before, I think.
Right,
but carry on. This
so
is great.
yeah, for people that don't know, so it was just an interesting one because she turned up an hour and a half late at least.
Yeah.
And when she turned up, like, she came in with all the gusto of like, we're gonna smash this.
Yeah.
I'm the bee's knees. You know, I'm really good. So let's get me. She basically said, right, where do I set up? I was like, okay, set up over there. Got her plugged in and stuff. And like, to be fair, like, she sat down. She was playing away. She was tearing up. Oh, she's gonna be good, really good. So okay. So I mean, in fairness to her, a little bit. I didn't realise that the age range of the people that were going to be there. I thought they were maybe going to be a bit slightly younger, but it was a slightly older audience, so we kind of adjusted a little bit. But I mean, it wasn't terrible. Like it wasn't like a massive change of.
So like standard function tunes, really.
Standard function stuff, you know, Johnny Be Good, like Twist and Shout. I think things like that are just like free called tricks type stuff. And she sat down and we started the first song, and she just didn't have a clue what was going on. And I'm kind of looking at her like, is she for real? Like, is this? So she had like a music in front of her. I was just like really panicking, like flipping through her charts and stuff. And like, so we started the first song and we all sort of kicked in. Okay, it was all right. And then I just kept looking around, and she was literally just playing 3 notes on a keyboard. And I was thinking, like, is she maybe she just doesn't know this particular song very well. But I mean, bearing in mind, like, we spoke probably a good like 2 months beforehand, and I'd run through all the sounds with her. I like, you know, all the chords. Yeah, 2 months, and
it's usually 2 days.
She didn't have a clue, and it was so bad. Like the rest of the band, like looking at each other, thinking, "Oh my god, like this is not good at all." And like Sean, who was on the gig, who sings but he can play keys as well, was like, "Should I just jump on keys?" And
yeah.
Anyway, we got through the first set, and all sort of slightly bemused at what's going on, and she come off stage, and I'm not kidding you, she thought she'd absolutely killed it. She's like, "Oh, guys, that was great. I really felt that. I had a couple of people already coming up and complimenting my playing and stuff, and I just think, are you deluded? Like, is this for real?"
That's horrific.
Anyway, yeah, but she was full of confidence, and then same thing happened second half. She didn't know half the stuff. I mean, like I said, to be fair, there were a few changes, but as a dep, you got to know your stuff. Just be able to jump on anything. Yeah. If I tell you what key it is, you should be able to sort of do it by ear. But she had nothing. And again, end of the gig. Oh, smashed it, guys. Can't wait for the next one. Like, please give me a shout. I was thinking, this is never going to happen again.
If you'll get one of those.
Never happening again. I mean, I was astounded at the confidence of her.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's not so much the fact that she fucked it up in the first place. If she was apologetic and was like, "Look, sorry, I didn't quite learn the set properly this time round, but hopefully, I'll be better."
Yeah, it was honestly, it was a play one, miss one, play one.
Yeah. Did you tell her after at all?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did, and it. I mean, I was as diplomatic as I could have been, but exactly. it didn't go down particularly well with her. No, I was trying to be really sort of nice with it and say, if you're going to start this, because I think she was quite new to the dep thing, and she started throwing all her grades and stuff at me. She's like, "I'm grade 8 this, and I got a diploma."
As soon as someone says a grade 8 something, I'm like,
I don't care. Like, it doesn't. Grades don't mean anything to me right now. No. You got to be able to do the job.
I probably shouldn't say that, should I? I was hammered for my grade 8 exam.
Was you really?
Yeah, I'd been on a night out, and it was a condition. So the first time I went to uni, I dropped out. But the first time I went to uni, my condition of getting in was that I needed a grade 8 in performance. And on this particular day that I booked it, so I was at the uni, the particular day I booked it, it was a student night the night before. I think it was like a Friday, and Thursday night was the student night. And I remember my dad picking me up to take me back. I was 18, 19? And I'd hit it heavier than I intended to. And I got in the car, I was like, all right then. And I got in the exam and somehow managed to do it, but I don't know how, because I'm not one of those people that plays well when I'm pissed anyway. I can't, from gigging with me, like I'll have one or two at the most. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not going to have any more because I'm really bad with a drink and playing.
Yeah, me as well.
But yeah, like this was, I don't know how I got through it. Like it was hilarious, but I still managed I got merit in the end.
Oh, well, there you go, mate. Yeah.
It did the job. But that's what I mean about grade 8, is if you got the technique, you'll get grade 8.
Okay, so this is quite a good little short one. Kind of, I don't know if you've ever had this. But so this is from Big Mama Funk. I don't know if you know of Big Mama Funk. She's a wicked singer. I've done loads of gigs with her, really fun.
I know if I saw her, probably.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So one of my first corporate gigs with my 10-piece band at the Natural History Museum. She's on the top of the steps, facing the big dinosaur skeleton.
Quality.
Anyway, I'm sounding fierce and feeling strong, so I decided to go and fraternise with the audience. To do this, I got to walk down some steps.
Oh no!
Yeah, what's she do? She falls flat on her ass and falls all the way down the steps, right to the bottom. But fortunately, she said she landed on her feet, and it looked like it was part of the show.
Oh really?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, that's always a risk, innit? When you're. I mean, fortunately, I don't go anywhere because I've got a guitar.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever fallen over?
No, have I fallen over? No, I feel like the only time I've ever fallen over was loading in. I was in Brighton and I was loading some speakers in up some steps.
Yeah.
And I went on the stairs and I fell and like completely ripped all my gig trousers on the steps. Yeah. But I've never actually, I don't think I've ever fallen off on stage. I've fallen over on stage. You have?
Oh, I remember we were supporting Top Loader in, do you remember the Horn? Mm-hmm. In St Albans? And it was the old one, so it was when it was really like small and sweaty. And we were really excited about supporting them. And we did our sound check came on stage after, and we used to be quite a high energy band. So it was like, it was a bit, we were trying to be Muse basically. And I was trying to be Matt Bellamy but on bass. And, which didn't work. Just want to put that out there. And I went to put my foot on what was the kickback. And obviously it's completely dark, as it did get in the horn. You couldn't see a thing. And there's no kickback there anymore. So I've gone straight into the audience. And yeah, that was interesting.
Was it like the whole thing, everything just unplugged, like your bass went? And
no, luckily.
Oh, it was down.
I always use a longer lead anyway. Well, I did for those gigs because of moving around so much.
Yeah.
So I went straight into the audience, got back on, just took a little bow and then carried on. You know, it was it was quite funny. But I did the same thing. I was posing for a photo at another gig, and then I went off the side of the stage and fell over. Big clatter, that one. That was, you know. It was one where we were gigging in an old place called the George. I was talking about it earlier before the pod, and this place in Luton, this pub, and I whacked the singer at the time, Tony, his name is. He's quite a bit shorter than me, believe it or not. I know that's hard to believe. And I absolutely clobbered him in the face with a Rickenbacker. I didn't mean to, obviously. I felt bad for that. I absolutely, really whacked him. But yeah, no, I had a few moments like that over the years because we were so high energy. I remember once jumping on an amp to try and look cool, and it just rocking, and it felt like hours that I was just going like this, like fuck, this is going.
Yeah, what about you? What stories have you been sent?
So obviously there was a BJ story, which I thought we had to start on. There is, I mean, I have quite a few of my own, to be honest. There's been, I mentioned to you earlier, the food poisoning saga.
Oh yeah. So
I was gigging at the old Barfly, which is now called...
I'm not sure what it's called. I haven't been there for years. I couldn't tell you what it's called.
Camden Assembly.
Oh, right.
I don't know where that came out of. That was pretty good. And I think it had just been renamed. I was gigging with Harry. And then I basically did the gig. It was all good. And my then girlfriend, who was from Paris, had come over to stay. And we booked a hotel. When I say a hotel, it's basically a hostel. And went back. All good, great night. And suddenly, the rumble came.
Oh, no.
I was a human fucking water feature for like... I'm not joking, the whole night. Probably about 10 hours straight. I'm not even joking. And it was grim. She saw parts of me that no one should see. And I felt so sorry for her. It's probably the final nail in the coffin of the relationship as well. But I had to book another day in the hotel. It was only like 50 quid, but I had no money at the time as well. So this was like my last 50 quid. And I had to book another day because I was so bad.
That's really
so ill. And it was a dodgy burger from Barfly.
Mate.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never had anything as bad as that. But I mean, we've got a couple of Barfly stories, but I think the one that kind of sticks out to me is we were playing there with, as they do, you know, you get them promotional nights. Like someone like, do you remember like Hot Vox? I think it was Hot Vox.
It was Hot Vox, and you'd always go on at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous times, or really early, like 6. There's no one around. Everyone's still working on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were playing one of those, and I think it was quite busy, to be fair. I think we were main support, so we had, like you said, you get shoved on at like 10:30, 11 o'clock or whatever. So we had loads of time to kill after arriving at like 4 PM to do sound check, it's just stuff like that. So we was hanging around upstairs, and we thought, let's go and check out the band that are playing. So went downstairs and opened this door, and as we opened the door, we kind of realised that not only did it more or less go right onto the stage, but it just it unleashed all this smoke and stuff from the main room. And then on the door, we also took another look, and it said, "Do not open this door." So we thought, we shouldn't be here. So we shut the door really quickly, and within 5 seconds, smoke alarm went off, because all the smoke that had come out from the main room had got into the hallway and set all the alarms off. And within 5 minutes, the lights had gone on. Everyone had to clear out the whole building. And I felt it felt really bad because like this band had obviously got quite a few people down. Like the room was really busy, and we later found out they'd come from quite far. I think it was like Norwich or something like that. It was quite big, obviously quite a big deal for them. And they'd like organised minibuses and all sorts.
Jeez.
So I think they'd maybe done like 1 or 2 songs before the fire alarm went off. And we had to clear out the building. And we must have been out there for about 3/4 an hour at least.
Oh, jeez.
Just standing on the pavement waiting to go back in. And then obviously by the time we got back in, their set had.
Yeah, and you'd feel terrible, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we felt terrible. I mean, we was also kind of laughing a little bit. I mean, that's terrible,
funny,
but we was
can't be helped, can it?
Couldn't be helped. Yeah, but that was.
If you use your eyes, it might.
That was quite bad. Yeah, I felt quite bad about that. But then, but we did have another one where we were not wasn't as bad as that, but it actually sort of happened to us where we did. I can't remember where it was now. I want to say it was in town, but I don't think. But I think it was. Guildford. I think it might have been Guildford. This.
Was it the what's the venue there? That
it was quite a renowned venue. Quite a lot of people played there.
I want to say the Joiners or something.
Could have been. It felt like looking back. I mean, we're talking like 15 years ago. So looking back, it felt like quite a small room, but there was a stage.
Yeah,
there was a stage and stuff, and as they will do, everything always runs over. So like, can you cut your set down to 25 minutes or like, okay, yeah. Anyway,
we got that too.
It kept getting later and later, and the whole night basically had to finish at midnight. 10 to 12 comes, we still haven't gone on, and they finally come over and say, really sorry for the wait. Your time is, do you want to go up on stage and do a set? And I was like, what's the point? What is the point? We're gonna have one song, so we thought, we've waited this long, we might as well do it. Managed to crack one song out. We thought, we've got a couple of minutes left, let's try and sneak another one in. So we started, Sean started singing, and we probably got 30 seconds in, and the sound engineer just pulled all the sound down on all the mics.
Oh, it's mortifying.
Yeah, and so he's standing there singing, we're playing, nothing's coming out. and the sound engineer just walked off. He just walked off. I was like, no, that's it. Game over. So we just stand there. So I was just like, lads, this
fair enough. Yeah. Bloody hell.
I know.
Do you know, you say about Doors cutting things out though. Is it the Road Trip and Workshop? Do you remember that? In somewhere in East Central. Old Street.
All right.
And I didn't realise why you couldn't open this door. And it turns out that every time you open the door, for some reason, all the electrics cut out. The entire room.
Oh, Jesus.
So, you'd be sound checking and someone would accidentally go through the wrong door and then you'd have to, reboot everything.
Oh, mate.
And it was just a fucking nightmare. And
that is a nightmare, yeah.
I was just like, do you not think this might be a safety risk? You know what I mean? I don't really want to die on this gig.
That's so weird, isn't it?
But speaking of which, we were saying about earlier, it's a bit morbid, but dying on gigs.
Oh, yeah, I did have a dying on a gig story.
So I had a similar thing.
Do you want to go first?
It's up to you.
You go first.
Okay, so we're in Hard Rock. We used to do a residency at the Hard Rock Hotel, which I think is called something else now. It was with Joe Slater. This Scouse dude who's fucking funny as anything anyway. And so you can imagine the gigs are a lot of fun. We never knew what song we were going to play. Always used to randomly. I remember once we were playing a gig and he just sat there and started playing the Godfather theme tune. Right. And we had to follow it. And we were just like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. But we're basically playing and this guy walks over. Must have been late 40s, early 50s. And he just goes like that without the whistle. And
it'd be great if it was with the whistle.
Wouldn't it? Proper cartoon.
Proper sound effects.
And I'm like, he must be pissed. And then I look again, I think, I think he's dead. So I stop the gig and I'm like tapping on the mic. Is there any doctors out there? Mate. It was so weird. But afterwards, I was like, we should have started playing the Bee Gees, "Staying Alive." You know, the chorus for the CPR,
What, live? Didn't it live?
He survived anyway. Apparently, he survived, but it was a bit eerie. Very eerie. And at the time, obviously, it wasn't funny. It was funnier after. But
yeah, well, I got a story sent to me, which is
me.
quite similar to that. They did want to remain anonymous, so we played a family christening, and on the dance floor, someone had a major heart attack, and hours later they passed away. But they were then booked again to play at the wake. I mean, I don't know how to make of that.
I feel like that's quite a good marketing strategy.
Yeah,
we'll play your funeral.
Yeah, just
for half price.
Renowned.
If we do the gig and kill you.
Yeah, just play funerals. I mean, yeah, he did come back and said they're going to change the name to the Average Wake Band, which I think is genius. That's so good.
Death at a funeral.
Yeah. What was that my band? Death Cab for Cutie.
That was it. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's quite short. I've never had anyone die on a gig. Although I did have, the weirdest one I did was, again, years ago. Mentioning that we used to play in a band with my parents. So we did a gig in Mayday Hospital.
Yeah.
And they were basically opening one of like a new ward on the children's ward, a new bit. So they got us into play for a little bit, but we was in like the main sort of reception foyer bit, which is also like part of the main corridor of the whole thing. So as we were playing, like we just had people being driven past on like drips.
Sorry,
and like, you know, it's just really surreal. It's like, are these people going to be all right, or are they dead? It's just really surreal.
But there's so many things. So many things wrong with that.
There's so many things wrong with that. I mean, yeah, just like some of the events you get to play. It's just, I just can't imagine.
Imagine though, if they did pass away and they liked the music, they'd be the Grateful Dead.
Way.
Sorry, that was terrible.
What we're here for.
That was awful.
But yeah, I mean, some of the things you get asked to play for. So another story I got in, and in fact, I had two stories like this, which is quite surprising. But yeah, so this is from. Let me just check if they want to remain anonymous or not. No, this is fine. So this is from Lawrence Henderson. He's a really good guitarist.
I think you might know. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Really good guy.
Yeah.
So
cracking guitarist.
Great guitarist, yeah. So basically we turned up at this gig thinking it was going to be a normal function. Then as we finished sound check, we saw there was a banner drawn out across the front of the stage. We walked out in front of the stage to see what was on the banner. It said, "Welcome to the annual Salisbury Swingers Club ball." A Swingers Club ball, this is.
Well, I imagine it's plural, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we played, and halfway through the second set, the room started emptying, and people started leaving with different partners.
Nice.
As they finished the set, two of the band members stayed to join in at the end.
Fair play.
But weirdly, I had two stories like that. Another one was for a swingers ball.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, who knew their balls?
I've heard they check. I mean, it actually sounds quite fun. Like, it'd be quite funny, wouldn't it?
But again, like, why would you?
Can I just say, like, playing the event, not actually swinging, just in case my girlfriend's watching and wants to kill me.
But yeah, I'm like, why would you? I don't know. Just having a band and an event like that, it just, I don't know, it confused me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like,
is it just to take the pressure off, like just to loosen everyone up and have a party first?
What would your set list be? It'd be like Pony would have to be in there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Sex on Fire.
Sex on Fire. That'd be, I suppose that's when you want to keep the pace up a little bit.
Yeah. Or is it more like a warning?
What else could you have? Like a Virgin?
Like a Virgin, yeah.
Yeah. Although you'd probably hope if they're swinging, they're not a virgin.
Welcome to the House of Fun.
Great Balls of Fire.
Great Balls of, I mean, yeah, again, that's a warning to...
That's a warning if anyone's got syphilis.
Yeah. I've got the clap.
I actually said that once at a gig.
Did you?
Yeah, I just thought I was being funny. It wasn't funny, to be honest. It wasn't big and it wasn't clever. But I remember someone saying, like, we used to do this song and it was a complicated clap before you played it. And it was like, that. It was like that kind of thing. I was like, who can get the clap, guys? And then everyone used to go, ha, 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 ha. And really, it was...
Is it one of them...
Which we'll edit out this podcast.
One of them passing... yeah, but it's one of them passing comments that you make thinking it's going to be hilarious and everyone just goes...
Yeah.
What?
It happens a lot. When I was busking, I was in Lagos, the Lagos part of Portugal. It was a bit quieter, so I used to say more on the mic, and I was known for being like the worst person on the mic because it would come out and it'd be a disgusting story of some sort, and everyone would barely understand it because most of them weren't English, and they'd look at me a little bit strange, and then we'd just carry on. But yeah, we had some of the funny stories in that gig. So we had one guy who took a very big dislike to us. And so often when you're busking, you have problems sometimes with the market stall people and stuff like that in certain places. And Lagos was a bit like this. So often what you would do is you'd say to them, look, we'll give you a shout out and tell them to avoid like standing in front of your pitch. But we'll give you a shout out as well. So say people like encourage them to buy local stuff and all that kind of stuff. And usually they were fine. This guy, he was fine when he didn't have a drink, but clearly he had a problem. Once he had a drink, it was emotional. And it got to the point where he spat at my mate. He used to walk around after me while I was passing the hat and be like, you're begging and all this stuff. And every other word was fucking foreigners, fucking English, this, that, and the other. I wouldn't have minded. This guy was from Denmark. Right. he wasn't even from
where you were,
Portugal.
right, gotcha, yeah.
But yeah, no, so we had like loads of abuse. But the great thing is that when we were playing there's like a group of people who were either a little bit hard done by or homeless. And obviously we built up a bit of a friendship with them straight away because we'd play music on the street and they would come and see us, and often they'd had like pretty shit lives, do you know what I mean, like stuff that they've been through which was pretty harsh. And one guy comes to mind, I used to call him Whoop Whoop. He was a cracking guy and he used to go whoop whoop every time we played and he used to dance around and stuff like that. I loved him, I thought it was great. And the funny thing was though is that they would all turn on this guy and they'd all go after him, like all these people. It's so funny. It was a bit like, I don't know if I can say this, we might have to edit this out, but when you started playing, it'd be like, do you remember that scene in Toy Story when Andy's toys come out?
Yeah.
Not Andy's toys, the kid who fucks around with the toys and like puts all the wrong parts in them and they come out like... and it was a bit like that. Right. You get all these people coming out like...
Hello. I mean, aggressive people at gigs, that's another one. I mean, I remember once we was doing a gig at, I want to say it's called Lulworth Castle down in Dorset. Lovely venue, really nice place. And we were set up on a stage, but there's like a big set of steps that run up to the stage. Yeah. So we're overlooking everything. And then we were playing along, and then this guy kept coming up to us, and he kept saying, "Oh, I want you to play something like Latin." He's going, "I'm a salsa dancer, I'm a dancer, this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Okay."
It sounds like me after I've had a few drinks. I'm a dancer, guys, honestly.
I can dance. So he's like, "Yeah, can you play something?" And the nearest thing we had to anything like that was Smooth by Santana.
Oh yeah.
It's like that's tune. That is perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect.
We can do it. I can sing it, no problem. So we start, and halfway through the first verse, he's walked up, like got right in front of my face, and started running his thumb across his throat and like pointing at me. Yeah. I was thinking, what is going on? Like, he's just threatening to kill me for playing Santana Smooth. I was thinking, what is going on? I mean, the thing is, he was so pissed. Like, it would have taken one little finger on the forehead and he would have gone over like some shit. Yeah. But fortunately, like, some people come up and sort of took him away. I was like, what are you doing? But you just think, what are you doing,
calm
mate?
down, Granddad.
Just calm down. No, threatening me.
I had a similar thing. Elin. I'll send you about this.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah. This guy looks over, and his table were enjoying the gig, and he looks over at me and Andrew and just goes,
"Yeah."
And I was just like, "Dude,
what? Yeah,
what's the matter? What have I done?" we're just playing tunes. Like, please.
Yeah. Some people take it far too seriously, you know.
But yeah, no, it's one of those weird things. You get quite aggressive people.
The other bugbear I have with things like that is people getting up on stage.
Yeah.
During the breaks.
Yeah. Playing instruments.
Oh, playing instruments. So one of the first gigs we done after we come back from COVID. It's possibly maybe I don't know if it was the first or the second gig, but it was early on, and it was in Essex somewhere, and obviously these people had just been dying for a party.
Yeah, of course,
like, absolutely gagging for one. Anyway, we'd set up and stuff and done the first dance, and it was outside in like a market. It wasn't like a proper market. It was just like a like a little tent that went over the kind of area we were playing, and then everyone could go out. Anyway, it was a bit weird because it was quite a hot day, so everyone did the first dance, great, and then everyone kind of disappeared. They just kind of went out into the sun, and understandable. Apart from these two women who were just absolutely off their heads, like everything was being taken that day, honestly. And they're like, they're rolling, like literally on the floor, rolling around, like everything is on show. Everything. This thing's winking at me, looking at me.
I remember saying that to my mate once. I was like, we were in Spain. Sorry to cut you short, but we were in Spain and we were doing this festival and we were hanging around with these people. And it was a similar thing with this girl. And again, I don't know if we could put this in. But I looked at him and I went, mate, I think I can see her vulva.
What a polite way of putting it.
And he was just like absolutely in pieces. Like I was just like, I need to look somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of the things. The thing is, I'm very short-sighted anyway, so I could only get a gist of what was going on.
Yeah, it was in that moment I wished I was as well.
But the rest of the band were like, yeah, I can see everything. Oh, anyway, we done our first set, went off for 45 minutes, whatever it is, come back, and they were on stage. Like, bearing in mind, it's just after COVID, so everyone's really like,
really aware.
Don't get near me. Don't do this. They did not care. So they were on the microphones, like shouting down it. And then one of them picked up the saxophone and was blowing into it. Oh. Yeah, and like the look on a sax player's face, he was just like, what is going on?
I'd find it hard to not really lose my temper at that.
Well, you would,
because it's one thing with I don't know, but it's another thing with the mouth and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't do that at the best of times, would you? Like go and play some sax or trumpet. But I mean, I've seen it more than once. I mean, it happened to us just a few weeks ago. In fact, there's two stories to this. Right? So we came down, and there were probably about 7 people on the stage, all playing an instrument. So I had one picked up the bass, one picked up the guitar, one was on the drums. Again, another one picked up the trumpet and was trying to play it. It's like, why would you do that?
No, it's disgusting.
Surely, like, there must be something in your head that thinks this is not right. But no,
bear in mind how much. I didn't realize how much saxophones cost as well. I was talking to David about this the other day, and he was saying how much like a normal sort of saxophone that he's got, or he's looking at, was costing. And I thought basses were expensive until he was talking about that.
It's just a lot more of it's such a personal instrument, isn't it? Yeah. Because you're so you're breathing and spitting into this thing.
Yeah, and obviously you get a lot of spit coming out of it as well when you clean it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just grim if it's someone else's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's just not, especially if some drunk idiots.
Yeah. So, I mean, as soon as I saw it, I kind of went on stage and was like, come on, you look. They very quickly jumped off. But it just winds you up.
Yeah.
It just winds you up. But the second story, which is less intrusive, but it just wound me up. So it's just a really weird thing that got to me, right? So obviously there's always the joke about bandwiches, So anyone that hasn't got there yet, a bandwich is basically what they give you, what they give to the band as dinner. So obviously all the guests probably had like a 3-course meal, salmon and...
We once had a loaf of bread and a pack of ham between like 5 of us.
Oh, right. So that is like a make your own bandwich. Right. So this, in this
no
case,
butter.
So this case, I was no butter, just a dry ham sandwich. So in this case, I don't know. It just really put me out. And like the rest of the band were kind of laughing because I never really am fussed about this kind of thing. But it was like, for me, it was just the lack of thought that went into it.
Also, there's another one. Once booked to gigs that seem like amazing gigs. And then the reality kicks in.
Yeah.
We've all had this, right?
Yeah.
So there's two that come to mind for me. One of them was we were booked to play to support Pendulum.
Oh, wicked.
At this uni. And this was my old band, my originals band. And we were so excited. We get there. And turns out that we played after Pendulum,
Right.
which ended up being during because they did a longer set. And it was next to them. We played to one girl who was on acid and did not know what the fuck was going on.
Oh, Jesus.
And to top it off, I had all my stuff nicked.
You had all your stuff, Nick?
Yeah, I had all my stuff stolen. My bag with all my clothes in. At that time, I was basically living out of a bag.
Right.
And all my stuff was nicked. All my lyrics as well. Everything.
Oh,
that was the thing I was most gutted about. So I used to partially write lyrics for that band. And yeah, I remember that. But we did a similar one as well where we went to play Stadium and Light. So obviously Sunderland football ground.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking huge
Great
ground.
ground, yeah.
Lovely ground. And went all the way up there, and everything. Got there and we realised that we were playing to a car park outside in a little trailer. And it was a pigeon having a battle with a Greg's packet we basically played to. And
So was you playing while the game was on?
No, there was no game. There was no one
game.
there. There was literally no one there. It was like a big festival they built it as, and there was not a soul there. It was the strangest thing. And they even put us up. They took us out in the evening. They took us to some questionable bars where there weren't much clothes involved.
Right.
They weren't strip bars, but they might as well have been. They were nightclubs, and I remember going in, and this was in Newcastle, so they took us across the way, and he was like, I can't do a Geordie accent, I'd love to, but he was like, I'll take you on a good night, man. And I was like, okay, cool. And we got in, and there was like bird cages, but the size of like probably about this room, actually. And there was just a completely naked woman in there. Just
one?
And then there was one where there was two, and they were performing certain things on each other. And I was just standing there thinking, okay, this is new. I'm not used to walking in a normal. Bearing in mind, this is a normal club. This is like, imagine like Oceana or something like that. I say normal, that's a shithole, but you get the idea. And like, I'm looking up thinking, fuck me, is this what Northerners do? They're friendly up here. Yeah, I knew that, but
stand a night in the northeast, mate.
Great time. But yeah, so the gig was worth it in the end. But
yeah, I mean, we've all had them gigs that are just a build to be great, and then not. I mean, I got one. Again, one that wants to remain anonymous just in case they get the gig again. But yeah, a while back, my band were approached to play at very short notice overseas. The event was a prestigious Pro-Am golf tournament, and a quick Google revealed who would be playing for. It'd be Hollywood A-listers, world-famous musicians, and top sports people. We sent a quote back and explained that because it's such an notice, they'd have to take care of all the logistics and everything else. Anyway, they agreed to it. So great. The deal was that it'd be a gala dinner at a golf resort following the end of the tournament. We were booked to play in a rooftop hotel bar. It was explained to us that we'd start playing at 11 p.m. and gradually the room would fill up as people sort of finished dinner and realised there was a party going on. We're told that in previous years, we would expect the attending musicians to want to get up and jam with us. We were really excited to get cracking. The hotel was beautiful, and we had a suite each to stay in. The sound man and all the hired gear was perfect. They treated us well to dinner at the restaurant and told us to order whatever we wanted. So drinks, everything on tap. As arranged, we started playing at 11 p.m. at the bar. At this point, the room was pretty much empty. 3 songs in, and an ex-boy band superstar wanders in with his missus, gives us a quick thumbs up and leaves. 4 songs in, and 4 songs in, and we're playing to about 10 people. The calm before the storm, we thought. Halfway through the 6th song, our contact dashes into the room and motions for us to stop playing. She tells us that there has been a noise complaint and we have to completely stop for the night. We were confused, but agree. As we were leaving, one of the bar staff comes over to us and apologises and explains. Apparently one of the world's richest men had booked the entire floor 2 floors below, and the 2 floors below the hotel bar, and wanted an early night. So they wanted to go to bed early, so they just completely
What
KO'd.
a cock.
Yeah. Completely
What an
KO'd the party.
absolute
So they
cock.
played 6 songs.
Money can't buy your class, mate.
Yeah. So that is billing
I think-
gig and getting destroyed.
If I was Prime Minister, I mean, let's face it, the way things are going, it wouldn't be surprising.
I'd vote for you.
Thanks, mate. First thing I'd say is no, absolutely, I've got to be careful what I say here. No person who's got lots of money and is a bit of an idiot with it. There's obviously lots of people with money who are lovely and who are very generous, but I'd make it a rule that they couldn't just do that. They couldn't just stop an event for everyone else and ruin everyone else's fun simply because they got more cash than everyone else. You know, I think that's incredibly rude.
I mean, I've got 2 instances where we've been shut down.
Yeah, we had it at Hard Rock actually.
I'm trying
It's
to
well
think
documented who lives there, so I'm not going to say anything.
I'm trying to think what the worst one is. So when we got shut down, so this is a 3-part tale.
Oh wow!
It's a 3-parter. 3 things that
Downton
happened.
Abbey shit.
3 things that what happened in one night. So this gig was booked down in Devon, and it was a wedding party. It wasn't a wedding. It was like a part. I don't know if it was a pre. It must have been like they must have got married abroad and then decided to have a party back. So what they'd done is they had hired this house or Airbnb or whatever it is, but it was like a big sort of country place down in Devon, sort of in the middle of nowhere. So we drove 4 or 5 hours down there in 2 cars. We arrived, spoke to the people. They were very nice. They set up a little stage for us. And I was like, no worries, like you can set up there. And we arrived early. So what we were going to do was going to go set up, go back to our hotel, get changed, freshen up, and then go back to the gig. So we set up, sound checked, everything sounds good. Went back to the hotel, freshened up. Right, okay, let's go back to the venue. Turn up at the venue. Before anything, the bride comes out and she says, "Oh, just to let you know, that some cream has got over your drum kit." So right, okay. And we're all sort of laughing at Josh because it's his kit and going, "It's your stuff. You're in trouble, mate." Yeah, that kind of stuff. Anyway, okay, so we start walking to the stage and it becomes apparent that it's not just a bit of cream. This stuff is everywhere.
Is fucking jizzed all over
it's
it.
absolutely everywhere. And it's not whipped cream, it's double cream. So like the runny stuff, like really bad. Yeah. So what they've done is the best man had decided to get the groom on stage, do a speech, and then chuck a pie in his face. But it was obviously 2 pies. And I don't know what was in this stuff, but there was cream everywhere. And I mean everywhere. It was all over my pedal board. It was all over the PA desk, over the drum kit, over the stage. Everything was absolutely covered.
Yeah.
And they could not give 2 shits. They didn't care. All they could do was like, "Oh, really sorry about that. We'll get you some toilet roll." So we're like, just meant to start, and we're all standing there cleaning this stuff off. And like at the time, it was an analog desk, so like it was all in the faders, in the pots, everything. I was thinking, it didn't start well.
Yeah.
Anyway, done as best we could to clean it all up. So okay, well, let's start. So we started, and we're just coming to the end of our first set, and I mean, it was starting to get quite dark, and they hadn't thought about lights or anything. So we had like some LEDs, but they weren't really that bright. So it was quite dark anyway. These 2 blokes come up, and this one bloke in particular was going absolutely ballistic. He was going ballistic. Shut it down. You shouldn't be here. So at first we just thought he was pissed. So we were kind of laughing and sort of playing on.
Is it the owner come back?
This bloke was livid. He was fuming.
Oh shit.
Anyway, we eventually realised he was being serious because there was another bloke with him with a very stern face, and he said, "You shouldn't be playing. You are not licensed to play. We need to shut this whole thing down."
Fuck.
Anyway, the bride and groom have come over, and it turns out they weren't allowed to have a party in this house, and they definitely weren't allowed a live band, and any music had to finish by 9 o'clock outside.
Fuck.
So they'd basically broken every rule that they could have broken.
They sound lovely.
So it was the owner, and what had happened was he had a complaint from apparently the mayor of Devon, who lived next.
Fucking mayor.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a mayor of Devon. Apparently there is, and he was living next door. Right, he was living next door to this place, and he said that he had.
I bet you had a mayor.
But he had some thoroughbred racehorses that were getting spooked.
Oh yeah, to be fair, that is fucked.
Which I understand. So we were like, oh, this is quite serious. Like, we were better. So we was like, we're not playing anymore. Like, this is not on us. Obviously, I'm trying to reason with the bloke saying, we're just here to do a job. Like, we didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Eventually, like, the bride and groom were kicking off with them, and they had like a big argument about it.
Jeez. But
like, by this point, it's about 9 o'clock, maybe just after. So we're thinking, this is amazing. We can pack down, and it was near. It was near Taunton.
Oh yeah,
Devon, right. So I was like, great. We can just go out in Taunton,
it's
get back to the hotel, change, go back out. Yeah, sweet. So we packed down. We packed down in the pitch black because none of the lights were on outside. And you know what Devon's like when it gets after when the sun goes down. It is pitch. It's pitch black. So we packed down, got everything in the car. They didn't say goodbye. They weren't apologetic or anything. They were just moaning about the owners or whatever. We're going to get our money back, this, that and the other. Anyway, it was like, I don't care. I'm going. We've been paid. So we left. As we're leaving, we get up back on the M5, I think it is, from Devon, and our hotel was on the M5. It was like one of them sunny inns or wherever it is, holiday inns, and it's in a services. They'd shut the M5.
Oh.
So we couldn't get back to our hotel.
Oh, so you had to come home?
So we were following this diversion, and we must have followed this diversion for about an hour.
Oh, shit.
And we were going round and round in circles, and it was just like, all our stuff is there, like house keys, just wallets, whatever there is, everything is there. It's like, we have to get back to this place. Eventually, after an hour and a half of driving around in circles following these diversions, we found this tiny, tiny little back road on Google Maps, and managed to work our way back into the place. Yeah. So by that point, it's like 11:30. We're all absolutely knackered, and it's like, you know what? I can't be asked to go out now. So we just went to bed. But yeah, all that happened in one night.
That's fucking mental, isn't it?
Yeah, getting covered in cream.
What people think they can get away with.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it is people that like do have a bit of money, and they
sometimes they just think they're going to throw money at the problem. It'll be fine.
Yeah, because like outside this wedding was like, it was Porsches, it was Lambos, like it was a lot of people with a lot of money, but I didn't really care. I just didn't really care.
Well, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's pretty nuts. I don't think that's ever happened to me where it's had to actually like. We've had shutdowns before, but not like that. That's mental. That's actually crazy. The mayor. So, what about? Have you ever had a gig where, or anything where it's gone painfully wrong? Where you've like succumbed to nerves or something?
Not nerves. We did have one. We had. I mean, the first dance. The pressure of a first dance can be big.
I've heard someone say before, again, I won't name names, but he said to me that they messed up the first dance and the bride started crying. So then the rest of the gig, you don't know what to do. You just don't want to be there. There are some, there's so many more here that I've got actually.
I know, yeah, I've got a few
crazy.
More. But do you know what? I think
save them.
Yeah, we'll save them for another episode because...
Oh, on that note, sorry, that was the one I was going to mention. Last one for me. You're welcome to do another one. My Guildhall audition.
Okay.
I went to pieces.
Did you?
I was so nervous. I turned up, right? And obviously, I'd gone there and I decided, all right, I'm going to go to uni because I need to get some kind of qualification because I was a bit stagnant at the time. And I got all my pieces prepared and stuff. I'd prepared with my tutor. It was really good. I know that I was capable of playing them. Turned up. And I was shaking so much that I couldn't get the sheets of paper out of the sleeves to give them to the musicians. And I had to get help doing it. I was so fucking nervous. I've never been that nervous in my life. But it's because you got a panel of like 4 experts really like well-known musicians in the jazz sort of world looking at you. And I'd never had that before. So we get it out eventually. I start playing and the playing's fine. There's no problem with that because obviously it's all technique. You've all practiced it a million times. It's fine. Then they do the ear test and I couldn't even hear a C major chord. Like it was fucking awful. And obviously usually you're just like, yeah, bang, it's that. Yeah. And like I was nowhere near it. I was so off it. And then at one point they were talking to me because they could tell I was nervous. And he just played one. And I said it straight away. He said, so I could see you know this, but you're just too nervous. I was like, yeah. Then they got me to sight read. And I'm not a reader anyway. I'm not a great reader. I remember when I was working with James Woodrow, the guy that I do the jazz trio with. It's his thing. And the first time he turns up with 4 pieces of paper stuck to each other and it's handwritten score, and I look at Daniel, the drummer, and I'm like, I'll be fucked if I know what that says, mate. But like, so I can read a little bit, but slowly. So enough to be able to at least punch in a rhythm and vaguely get the notes right if I'm playing along. So I was like, all right, I'm going to be found out here, but you know, there was no question of being found out. My pants were pulled down and everyone was laughing at me because it all looked like squiggly lines all of a sudden on the page. I went to shit. And that was the most mortifying experience. I just wanted the ground to swallow me up. Yeah. Walked out. The musicians were lovely. I think they could see I could play a bit, so they were really kind, and they were like, genuinely, mate, like, you know, give us a call if you want to do any work kind of thing. Yeah. And then I went to the audition for Trinity the next week, and I walk in, and who do I see? It's the same fucking guy invigilating me as was the week before.
Oh, really?
And then like a bunch of new people, but I was like, I've not got it. So I just went in that and fluffed my way through it. Same kind of thing. Wasn't quite as nervous. Did a little bit better, but not as well. And I was like, oh, fuck this shit. But yeah, no. So that's
your swallow me up.
That was probably the single most embarrassing moment of my musical life, because I basically did a musical shit in front of
laid a musical turd right in front of
some really like people that I really respect, like one of the bass tutors, like who I'm like think is a fucking amazing bassist, and I literally basically just shat my pants in front of them. It was grim.
Oh mate, well I think all these stories just kind of go to show that anything can happen.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter how good you are.
It doesn't matter how good you are, because it goes back to that thing, you know, it doesn't matter if you're grade 8 in your bedroom. Because when you get out there and actually gig this stuff, like, it doesn't go to plan. It just doesn't. And there are, I'm sure, thousands of other stories that we'll bring up next time.
Just here in the industry, I fell off stage last time. I say stage, it's like a little magnetic stage, which is like this size. But yeah, I remember Andrew looked round at me and was like, what the fuck's going on? Why ain't he playing? And I'm like this, up in the air, like, Andrew, help!
Yeah. Well, this again, mate, it just goes to show you can't plan for this stuff. Doesn't matter where you are, who you're playing with. It can always happen. So I think we should definitely do another episode like this.
I think we should.
I think we will.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
I haven't finished my pint yet. You finished?
Oh, mate.
Mate,
I've got another one coming now.
Yeah, mate. Get on it.
So, I'd say that brings a conclusion to this week's Jam Spot Pod.
Jam Spot Pod. Jam Spot Pod, yeah.
I should go official.
The Jam Spot. Which sounds a bit dodgy, actually, doesn't it, Jam Spot? Sorry. I wish we'd have thought of that.
This is why we need a guest to keep it clean. Anyway.
It's my favourite kind of spot. Right next to the G.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
You actually had to spell it out, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't found that one yet, though.
No, it's a mystery to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me. It was emotional.
Yeah.
Drive safe. Why do I always say that? I can't even fucking drive.